What's up, everybody? My name is Ryan Turford, and today is Wednesday, and you know what that means. Yes, you, the viewer at home. It is Zelda Wednesday right here on youtube.com/Ryan Turford. Of course, I bring you new videos every day, Monday to Friday, noon Pacific time or 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you are on the East Coast. If you like this video, like, subscribe, share with all your friends, all that good stuff. Of course, if you guys missed last week's episode, we are still playing Zelda 2. It is a really long game for an NES game. We are about to jump into Palace number 383, aka, in quotations, aka, the Graveyard Palace. Of course, these palaces don't really have any names. We just sort of make them up on the spot. Before we enter the temple, though, I do have a bit of an apology to make. On this particular video, I was doing an audio check and played pretty far through the palace just to warm up. Unfortunately, when I went to go load the game, I accidentally hit save. So I'm basically going to take you to all the places where the keys are located. I haven't actually beaten the boss yet, so you're still going to watch me fight the boss. And we're still going to collect some items, but for the most part, I've already collected the raft, which is the item that we usually come here to collect, which I'll show you how to get the raft, as well as all the other keys to progress through this dungeon. So don't worry, we're going to do a full playthrough I'll show you all the different areas you need to go in this palace, but unfortunately I can't show you all of the enemies or specifically have the keys appear on screen. But if you're still cool with that, again, we're about to jump into Zelda. Of course, mistakes happen like that, weird technical things. Of course, me accidentally hitting save is just human error, unfortunately. But that's okay, we're still going to have a good time. The goal of this Let's Play is to actually complete Palace 3 and 4. Palace 4 is actually really difficult. And then Palace 3, it's actually pretty tough on its own. But I know we can get through this together. So first of all, those hammer guys at the beginning, the best strategy for them, because they're actually going to come up a lot in this particular dungeon, is really just to jump on their heads. Because last time, if you missed last week's episodes, we unlocked the downward stab, which is awesome. So the downward stab allows us to jump on our enemies' heads if we press down and then stab them. That'll actually be the way we defeat a lot of the new enemies in this particular dungeon, because the mechanics in this dungeon are sort of built around that in mind, which is the whole reason why it gives us the downward stab ahead of time. So first of all, in this area, coming up here inside, let's see, after this guy, let me just kill him first. So inside this area, there would normally be a key, and the way you would do that is you would just drill down into the ground using the downward stab. So here, I'm knocking out these areas. Now, you could actually use those blocks as a staircase, but we actually want to kill the red knuckles here since they do give us experience. Now, with this jump, you could use the jump magic to actually make it a little bit easier or less of a pain in the ass, but it's usually better just to save that magic for life or other spells later on. There we go. Because again, you can naturally make the jump, it's just annoying. So we're going to knock out some of these blocks because there'll actually be another red knuckle here. And we'll just sort of touch up our life here. Alright, so there we go. So another red knuckle down. And look at that, we made that jump the first time. Again, those jumps are kind of annoying. So we're going to kill this skeleton here. Now, we don't actually have enough magic, but if we jump up here, there's a couple enemies over there, not much over there. So we're actually going to go this way instead. So I'm going to show you where you get the raft. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go this way. We're going to destroy some of those blocks. And of course, there's a red knuckle here. We basically want to get on the other side of him because, as I've sort of shown you before, our sort of strategy with the red knuckles or any of the knuckle enemies is really just to jump and attack them in the head, because it is a lot easier to kill them that way than trying to fence with them, essentially. So here we can just jump and whack. Now here, we're actually going to activate our shield, because we're actually going to fight a blue red knuckle. These are actually very difficult enemies. if you don't know how to take them out. And again, they are a big pain in the ass. They do a ton of damage. Basically, the knives will hit us if we jump, the higher ones anyways, and the lower ones will hit us if we're not ducking. So the main sort of strategy that we have here with this enemy is we want to, and again, I died there, but basically what you would do is you want to jump and whack, like jump and attack, basically when you see the downward spikes. Otherwise, you basically kind of want to just stand still. Just do his thing. Sort of like that. We're going to sort of watch him just throw knives at us. So basically when we see a break in his attacks, that's what we want to attack. So of course, we've taken him out. This is where the raft would be. As you can see, I have it in my inventory. The raft will basically allow us, if you remember on last week's playthrough, the last town we went to, there was sort of a dock there. It'll allow us to go across the sea to the other areas. Since they are only accessible by boat, which is the main reason why we come to this palace, besides, of course, getting another gem in our collection. Oh, we want to get that magic, actually. In this dungeon in particular, magic consumption is pretty critical, so you want to sort of take your time and use magic only when needed. Now those enemies, those like deerhead enemies, essentially, if you walk into them, like if they hit you, like physically run into you, you lose experience, which makes them really, really annoying. So I'm actually, there's a key in the left-hand area, but in the next palace I'm going to show you an identical room to that one, except it'll actually have enemies and a key in it. So I'll actually just show you that particular room in the next palace. So we're on our way to the boss. We have all of the keys at this point. This dungeon in particular does not have a ton of keys that you have to actually go search out, which is kind of nice because you really don't have to deal with a lot of annoyances. Now here, you could actually go about this one of two ways. You could fight the blue knuckle there and have that fight be a huge pain in the ass, but we're actually not going to do that. I mean, the experience is nice, but it is not worth it. And we're not going to net enough experience to level up before the boss here, because as I've mentioned before, our usual strategy, of course, is to level up as we hit the boss, or as we killed the boss specifically. So then the extra experience we get from finding the gem is not wasted. So here's the third boss in the game. It's basically a blue knuckle riding a horse. Basically, our job here is to knock him off the horse. Unfortunately, the horse's movements are very random, and as such, it is a very annoying enemy to deal with. So here, our strategy is very similar to when we fight these guys our own. The thing that makes this fight such a pain is, as you can see, he will run the fuck away from us if we get anywhere close to him. So we want to sort of get back. We want to sort of inch towards him, essentially. But of course we died. Again, I kind of expected that to happen. That boss is actually pretty difficult. Especially if we don't have enough mana to use the life spell. If we could have used the life spell, I think we actually would have been okay. So we're down to 1 life, but we can actually do a quick fix with that once we finish this dungeon. So I'm going to wait for him to charge me. Come on back. Again, his movements are very random. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot we can really do about that. And just like that, the blue enemy, unfortunately, even if we sort of get him to like the edge of the screen here, we really can't do much about him. Because look at that. As soon as we get to him, he just runs off the screen like a pansy. Boom! We took him out. So we grab the key there, and now we can go through this door, and we will unlock the third of the 6 gems. Basically, when we complete, get all the 6 gems, then we will be able to unlock entrance to the Grand Palace, which will basically take us to the end of the game. So we could go a couple ways here. We could go with Magic 6 now, or we could get Life 7 before we go to the next dungeon. I'm actually going to opt for Magic 6 because, as I've sort of mentioned before, magic management is actually way more crucial at this particular point in the game. And now what we're actually going to want to do is the strategy here is, since we are actually at, basically have reset our experience points, what we're going to want to do is, the second we have a chance to die, that's exactly what we're going to do. Because what it'll do, number one, it'll bring us near the beginning, which is actually where we want to be. I'm going to sort of just walk into this guy as much as we can. But it'll also replenish our lives. So in a lot of ways, it'll be doing us a lot of favors. Since it really doesn't matter, because our experience is at the point where it's fine if it gets reset. So if anything, it's more of a shortcut for us if we just do this. Of course, if I was speedrunning or trying to go for like a... Well, I mean, if we were speedrunning, this would actually be a trick we would be using a lot more. And likewise, if we were trying to do like a perfect playthrough with no continues, then obviously we wouldn't do that at all. But since we're doing a very casual playthrough, since all my playthroughs are very casual playthroughs, that part is actually okay. Again, we don't get like the extra 200 experience for going through that cave, but I think we should be okay. So we're at this road here. We can just run off here. So again, we just have to walk back to the port town from where we started. Trust me, this will be a better solution than having no lives. So we don't actually have a reason to go back to town. Normally we would if we needed health, but we actually don't need health. So we'll immediately take the raft to the other continent. Now, these particular eye enemies, we don't have the means to defeat them right now, so we're really just going to run out of the arena. We're going to get a spell to actually curb that in a few minutes. So these eye enemies are worth 20 experience and very easy to take out, so we're going to take advantage of that since they're here. Again, if we go to this forest patch, there will actually be more experience, like an experience potion at the end of it. So it is definitely worth going for it. Again, we can sort of be liberal with our magic right now, since we are going to be going to town soon. So we can start heading this way. That eye eventually will catch up to us. So we can grab the experience potion. 200 experience. Awesome. So now we're going to go to town. So we are now in the town of Naburo. Of course, this is not actually a reference to anything as far as I'm aware of in the later Zelda games. So we're going to talk to this guy, and this guy is going to tell us, with boots, I could walk on the water. So basically, what that's telling us is that there will be an item called the boots that will allow us to walk on the water, which will be very handy, because in order to get to the palace after this one, so the 5th palace, we actually need that ability. So we're going to talk to this girl, and this girl says, I am thirsty. So there's actually a water fountain here, and the trick is, if you just walk to this spot right here where the statue is and you press B, it says, want to get some water? So we're actually going to go back, talk to her, and then she's going to tell us, you have water, come in. So we're going to go inside her house, and then we're going to get a very useful ability that won't really help us in the palace per se, and it's not really required, at least at this point, but it'll help us take out those jumping eye enemies, and as well as some blizzard enemies we're going to fight a little bit later. So basically, it gives us the fire spell, and the fire spell, what it does is it will allow us to... when we activate it, all of our attacks will actually shoot fire out of the sword. Very similarly to the wand that's in the original Legend of Zelda. or likewise when we have full health. But of course, the fire is not good on a lot of different enemies, but only certain enemies can actually be killed by the fire. So it is actually useful in our journey towards the next palace. Which is, by the way, the Island Palace is actually where we're going next. So we're going to go in here, and we're going to talk to this guy, and this guy just says, ... He's just a random bat that's just hanging out in the house, and surprisingly, he doesn't have anything to say. I know, it's just crazy, right? It's crazy. So we're going to head to the south here. We're going to go in this cave. So we could fight these guys here, so we'll just activate the fire spell now. And we actually, we can't really hit with them with our swords. We actually have to attack them from range using our attack. And again, the fireball is very similar to the fire that you find in Mario Brothers. Because again, that's a tie that you'll see a lot in this particular. You've probably seen throughout this game. So here, basically, these enemies I'm going to run past because we're going to have another opportunity to kill them in a minute. Again, these are all enemies we really have to kill using the fire. So we're going to fight a scorpion here. Now, the scorpion himself is actually pretty difficult and kind of annoying. And we don't really have to kill him if we don't want to, but he is a ton of experience points. We just sort of want to, as per usual here, our main strategy is sort of to jump on his head. Of course, I wasn't expecting to die there. We should have really just used our shield. God damn it. Link has like the shortest jumps. Well, we'll get this experience first, and then we'll go fight him. Of course, the fire doesn't really do anything. I just wanted to show you what would happen if we actually activated the fire. There we go. Thank God. Alright. So now we're going to run all the way back. We're actually probably just going to skip past these particular enemies that are here. Again, we can really just jump on their heads to sort of get around them. So now we're going to head back to town, refill all our stats, and then we're actually going to go... well, first of all, I'm going to show you where we would actually need the boots, and then we're going to head straight north to go to the next palace, essentially. Or at least go do everything we need to do before we go there. Because there's actually a couple stops we need to make before we go to the next palace itself. So that's the girl who was thirsty. There we go. We'll just hop in, get more of our health. Run all the way through here. And we're about 1,500 experience from getting life 7. And the max we can really get, that we're probably going to get through this entire playthrough, is 8. So... we'll almost be at our best defense. So here, you can just see the road just goes into the water. Of course, that basically signifies, hey, you're going to need something to get through there, i.e. the boots. So remember with these demon enemies, when they shoot fire at us, we cannot block it with our shields, unfortunately, which is kind of dumb. No, we can wait. Oh. We will want to activate fire, though, because these lizard enemies can be taken out using the fire spell. They can only be actually hurt by fire, so that's the main reason why we use it on them. So, basically what we want to do, we're just going to sort of skip these guys, because for the most part, you're going to really just see me skip over a lot of those enemies. So we're going to head west first. There's a town to the east, if we do need to go fill up, but we are not going to want to go there just yet. And I believe there should be more this way. Oh, we're going to grab that. That way we can use life one more time if we need to. So we're going to actually go all the way over here to this patch of sand here. And it seems very random. And that enemy encounter was not supposed to come up. But that's okay. We can just run through here. So we're going to head to this patch of sand because this actually gives us a 1-up. So we're actually at back to 3 lives again. We replenish the one we lost. So we're going to go to this giant bridge. And this area looks very reminiscent of the Death Mountain maze. And it is a maze on its own as well. Basically, there are no enemies that will physically appear on the map, but if you run into certain sections, you'll basically fight enemies. So we're going to go up here first. So basically, we're going to fight this enemy in this hole here. So basically, this lizard is basically the evolution of the Iron Knuckle. So we want to just take him out the same way. Ooh. The experience bottles with them are very good. They're worth 200 XP, so it is very useful to get those. So we're going to use the life spell now, and you'll understand why I did that in just a second. So first of all, we got this boy, and you're wondering why we picked up a boy and threw him over our heads and then ran through the dungeon. Basically, this is part of a side quest to get us an ability we're going to need for the palace. So you see the palace up there. That's the palace we're going to go to next. But we're going to go do something real quick here first. So we're actually going to go... we're not going to go this way. We're going to go through here. And again, these lizard enemies and these other enemies are very annoying to deal with, and we don't have a lot of magic. So we want to just keep running through here. Again, there's a big reason why I used the life spell, and you'll find out why in just a second. So we're going to go up through this area. And we're actually going to run out this way, because we actually meant to go down here. So now, there's another hole here. And this hole brings us to a magic potion. So we only have one more left in the environment. So that refills our magic instantly, which is the main reason why I was very liberal with using the life spell there. So now that we have both of the things, we're actually going to go back out of the maze. So we're actually going to exit the maze rather than go through it again. Once again, these fire enemies very, very annoying to deal with, so that's why we're not really going to bother with them. It's not really worth the effort of going for the XP that they provide, since we should get enough without them. So now we're going to cross the bridge again. And we're going to sort of stick to the north here. By the way, we don't want to fight the big burly monsters in the woods. They are a big pain in the ass to fight with the eyeballs. And yes, that sentence sounded really, really weird. There we go. So we took them all out. And we're going to keep going west. Sorry. We're going to go through this path here. Now, we don't want to fight these guys. So we want to just run the fuck away from them. Okay. So basically, there are going to be some set fights here. For example, this one, where no matter what happens, whether there are enemies there or not, we're going to run into these guys. These Octo Rocks are very similar to the ones that were stationary that we fought earlier in the game. And the reason why you see me take them out is, number one, they're pretty easy for the amount of experience they give. But number two, they might drop a magic potion like that, which will get us oh so close to refilling our health. So now we're basically going to fight them again, except this time there are bubbles, and this area can be kind of treacherous if you aren't paying attention, so that's why I'm sort of trying to concentrate here. There we go. And we just sort of wait for them to pass. And there's the town. And thank God we made it with a lick of health there. So we've hit Mountain Town of Darwinia. So, there are actually a couple things we're going to get in this town. First of all, we're going to go in here. And notice that there's nothing in here. And what does that tell you? There's something in here, but we can't access it right now. I just wanted to show you this room first. So now we're going to talk to this lady. She's going to say, stop by and refill your health, so that beeping stops. And of course, we are back to full health now. And here's the old lady for magic. So we're going to go in there. She's going to give us some medicine. It's going to restore our magic. Awesome. Okay, so here's a bit of a trick here. So what we're going to do, we're just going to run all the way over here to this roof. And we're going to use the jump spell to run and jump on top of this building. So we're going to actually run along the buildings here until we get to this house. And what we want to do is actually jump inside the chimney and basically press down on top of the chimney. So now we're going to run through there. Now we're inside the house. We basically broke into some dude's house. So, of course, there's a basement area. And very similarly to when we got the downward stab, we had to jump up. We also had to jump there. So when you jump, press up to stab. So, very similarly to the downward stab, we can now stab upwards. And again, you might be thinking to yourself, when the hell would that ever be useful? Well, I'll tell you when. It's going to be useful in the next palace, when we go there. So, we're going to run out of this building, and it basically just lets us back out. There's no way to actually get back in. So now we're going to run all the way this way. Oh, sorry. What we should do actually first, before we go where we're going, since the magic refill is right over here, we will refill our magic first and then go that way. Just because we want to recover that one block that we had, since after this, we can actually go to the palace now. So we're going to want to be full on everything. And yes, I'm running while stabbing upwards. That's what you do in this game. Oh, this is the lady here. So we talk to her. She says, "You are a hero for saving my child. Come." So basically, we go into this old lady's house. And very similarly to all the other spells we've learned in this game, of course, there's going to be a wizard just hanging out in our basement, ready to teach us yet another useful spell. So, this magic will strengthen a shield. So, basically now we've unlocked Reflect, and basically what that will do is that'll take the place of the magic shield in this game. Because if you remember in the original Legend of Zelda, the magic shield could reflect magical attacks, and that's actually what we can do with the Reflect spell. So basically, enemies will use magic on us in the palace, which we can reflect back at them, which is pretty cool. Okay, so now I think we have everything we need to make our journey to the palace. So once again, just similar to before, we're going to run into these parts that are unavoidable. In fact, I think it's actually more annoying to go backwards than forwards on this particular area, but that's just me personally. Whoop. Almost jumped into that bubble. And once again, we gotta fight these guys, except without the bubbles this time, which does make it less annoying. Boom. We took out 2 at once. And we're almost actually at our next upgrade. We should get it pretty quickly once we get into the palace, actually. So once again, we're going to take out these eyes, since it's been gracious enough to give us the opportunity to do so. They are a lot easier to fight in this particular flats area than the other area. Despite the fact that I'm not doing a very good job of proving my point at the moment. At least grinding these guys isn't nearly as bad as when we had to hunt for rupees in the original Legend of Zelda. Like, holy crap, man. That was bad. Now, there's actually a reason why we're going to keep going. We could, well, first of all, if I can hit that fairy, we're going to hit that fairy. But we didn't, so. I'm actually going to run out of here because fighting the spiders with those eyeballs is actually really troublesome. So the main reason why I'm actually not refilling my health right now is because we can actually go, when we go to the palace, we should be able to get a red bottle at the start of the dungeon, so. There we go. And we died like noobs. All right, well, we're just gonna run straight there now. Let me just kill these guys. Unfortunately, they do a ton of damage. There we go. So we took them all out. Again, that experience was actually worth it. Worth actually killing all those dudes. So here, we're just going to sort of skip past them. Okay, so we are at the bridge. So now we're going to actually do this for reals this time. So again, for the most part with these fire enemies, yes, we have the means to destroy them, but it is not worth the effort. Like, it's not worth losing another life over it, since we are going to need a certain number of lives to actually be able to beat this palace. Boom. Did you like that slide? We just slid under him. Of course, I should have downward stabbed there, but I didn't. Let's do this. We just sort of wait for them to come to us, and then jump on their heads. Once again, same with that guy. We just sort of want to get him in the right position, and just jump on top of him. Alright, so we took the Octo Rock out. We're going to use the life spell when this gets high enough. Alright, so now we can go up and then down. And now we've run into bugs. These bugs are basically never ending enemies. So for the most part, we want to just try and avoid them. And yes, they're worth a lot for a reason, because they're very annoying to deal with. Just like bugs in real life. Sometimes. Alright, so now we have finally reached the palace. So, as per usual, we're going to attack this statue. And we screwed that up already. But that's okay, we should be fine. So we're going to go down. And we're going to go to the right first. Now, these wizard enemies, I'm going to come back and deal with them later. We're not going to deal with them right now. But basically, in order to kill them, we actually need to use the reflect spell. So these blue skeletons can be very annoying to deal with, because what you have to do is to lure them to jump out of the hole before you can even attack them, since the downward stab does not affect them. So we gotta, come on, get up there. Ah, whatever. We'll deal with them when we come back. So we're gonna go through this door here first. Once again, skeleton, we just crouch, whack him. As long as you progressively get closer to him, they're pretty easy to take out. So we're gonna run and jump across this bridge, And of course, we barely make it, even with the jump spell. That jump can be quite perilous. Of course, you're probably wondering, how the hell do we get back? You're going to find out. So this part can be a pain in the ass with the hammer guys. But luckily for us, he just jumps off a cliff. And of course, unfortunately, we sort of blew our opportunity to get enough XP to refill our health there. But that's okay. We should be fine. We should be able to kill enough enemies to get that, like, 30 more we got to refill. So now, as I sort of alluded to before, you're probably thinking to yourself, how do we get up there? You don't. You just jump off the cliff. Because this will actually bring us to another area that we need to go. So we're going to go through here. And remember what I told you guys about fighting those orbs when there are enemies that continuously spawn? Don't do it. It's very annoying. Alright, so we got 1 life left. There is a chance we may have to refill on lives and come back. But we're going to do our best here. As I've sort of alluded to before, all of our progress carries over. So the main thing is to at least level life before we die, if that actually happens. And likewise, sort of get as many things like keys and other things that we can get before that actually does happen. Since that'll be less we have to do later. God damn it. So we want to sort of back him up onto this set of stairs here. There we go. And now we have the boots. So even in theory, if we wanted to, we could actually go to the next palace now rather than finishing this one. Of course, we're going to finish this one, but I'm just saying, in theory, if we decided to do so, the game is open-ended enough to let us do that once we have that power-up, which is actually pretty cool. So now, once again, we're going to just sort of saw away at these guys. Again, it won't be as bad as when we were level 1, but it still can take just a few minutes here. Again, we may as well just sort of grind out that XP while we can. So now you're thinking to yourself, okay, maybe we can get across here. Nope, we're just going to jump down again. So this time, there's actually lava there to signify, hey, you probably don't want to jump down any further, because you're just going to fall in lava. Boom. Again, those guys are very, very, very annoying. Ooh, so what we're going to do, we're going to have that equipped. That should give us almost full health and basically full magic. That orb, unless you have a death wish, you probably don't want to tango with it. We just want to sort of let it do its own thing here. There we go. Yeah, we'll just let it go around here. Of course, usually it would spawn off the screen by now, but it didn't actually feel like doing that this time. So very similarly to the heads that actually shot at us, our strategy with these ones is don't get hit into the lava. And how did we retaliate by getting hit into the lava? All right, so we're going to continue, but that's okay because we actually have we have 1 key, and we have the boots, which are what we need. And again, we've unlocked a lot of the stuff that we would already need to do. So for the most part, it's just a quick trek back that way. Unfortunately, we actually can't get the extra life from the sandy patch again because it doesn't let us do that. But we can just avoid a lot of this fighting heading over there. And as far as our XP count is concerned, I'm still not too worried about it. Now that we have life 7, we are sitting pretty good right now. Again, our next sort of targeted upgrade would be attack 6, but we're still a little ways away from that. Again, I apologize for this not being a super smooth run. Again, that's sort of just always been my MMO with all of my Let's Plays, though. I do the best I can, but I by no means am saying I'm a pro gamer or someone who is very, very good at video. Well, I mean, I think I'm pretty good at video games, but there are certain video games that are really, really difficult, like Zelda 2, which is actually probably one of the most difficult video games on the NES, at least out of games that are not totally busted, like Time Lord, for example, on the NES, which is totally busted. Oh man, Time Lord. That brings back so many memories of playing that game. I can't believe that game was made by Rare, by the way. Just, oh man. Alright, so we're going to run all the way across to the bridge again. And again, we can chip away at these eyeballs again, but I don't want to spend too much time on these guys. Since if we are a dummy and we run into them, they hurt. And just like before, we are going to have to go through this island maze again. And yes, the island maze is dumb, but that's how we got to do this. Again, this is the reason it gives you the fire spell, because the fire spell itself is not actually useful in the palace, because there are actually no enemies really that are really resistant to, like, well, I would say not resistance, but, well, I would say not resistant to fire, but, so for the most part, we really will not actually be ever using it outside of this area. At least later into the game, there will actually be more enemies that we have to deal with and use the fire spell for. But for now, we don't really actually use it. God, the first time I saw this maze, I was like, holy shit, what the fuck is this supposed to be? I thought the Death Mountain maze was bad. Mind you, though, with the stats you have going into the Death Mountain maze, I do actually think it is way more difficult than the maze here, because usually you have pretty good stats at this point, whereas the Death Mountain maze, like, especially if you do it early, you have, like, very, very, very poor stats to do that with. So we'll get this ready. Again, it should basically bring us back to full stats. Oh. Damn it. I tried to show off there, and it was really, really bad. I tried to jump on the Octo Rock while stabbing down on him. So once again, we got the bugs. They're very annoying. We just want to sort of run as fast as we can past them. Alright, so now we have arrived at the palace, and let's do this one more time. So we're going to, first of all, fill up on our life, because we're going to trigger this Iron Knuckle. We're going to sort of get him to not be on the steps, because he's very annoying when he's on the steps. So if we go back out and go back in, there we go. Again, we'll use the life spell because red potions do provide an entire magic bar's worth of magic. So now, I believe we have everything we need on the right, so we're going to go left this time. So, first of all, we're going to deal with these motherfuckers. So we're just going to basically just point our shields at them and basically reflect their attacks back at them. They're worth 100 experience points apiece, and they're very worth taking out. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to go this way. We're going to use our key here. We still have reflect for the rest of the screen, but we will need to use it again if we need it. So we're going to actually use the jump spell here to jump up. We tried to be cool there. Tried to show you the flashy move. Couldn't do it. And now what the fuck is it? What the fuck is that? I've never seen it do that before. We don't want it to be down there. So what we want to do is run out, run back in. Kick it. So we killed the Iron Knuckle there. We used our key to get through that door. We kill these dudes that give us nothing for killing them, but take away our XP if we get hit by them, which is really annoying. Alright, so we kill that hammer guy. So now in this area, this is actually, remember the room that I didn't show you in the palace before, where you got a key? Well, this is actually a very similar room, except we get an experience power up here instead. So we're going to go here, get that. We're sort of just going to craft ourselves a way out. We're going to want to actually just clear that out. Otherwise, we would actually have to use the jump spell there, which is actually a waste of mana if we can just narrow ourselves out. So the key actually is in the exact same spot in the Red Palace in this exact same room, which is kind of a waste there. So we're going to sort of just bulldoze our way back over here. We're going to sort of upward stab. Boom. Okay, so now that we have an extra key, we should be able to use it in the next room when we go down. So first of all, we're going to fill up on our life. Go this way. So once again, just like all the rooms that are designed like this, there will be enemies and candles, and there will be a key at the end, which we need to get in order to progress. And yes, these enemies only give 20 XP for being as annoying as they are and being never-ending. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of them. Ooh, so we got a red potion. Awesome. And again, if the game doles out infinite enemies in very specific patterns. So if we know the pattern, it is pretty easy to avoid them. Of course, the wizards are going to be annoying to take out in this room, since there are these never-ending enemies in this room. We're going to do this. We still have our reflect spell active, of course. We're just sort of take those guys out at a distance. So this part can be pretty tricky, but we should be okay. We sort of just have to jump over those mines there as we come to them. And we do have one key remaining, which is good. So we can basically get the skeletons to jump down, and basically if we fight them together, they are a lot easier to kill, since we can just attack both of them at the same time. And we are going to want to use the jump spell to get that XP, because it's an extra 100. We'll use life. And we'll just kill these red knuckles with our usual tactic of jumping and hitting them in the face. Yeah, it sounds really crude, but that's just what we do. I mean, as long as you sort of have that little jump forward while you're attacking them, that makes all the difference with those enemies. Alright, so here we go. So, what we want to do is to activate the reflect spell. I don't think we have enough XP for the shield, so we really can't use it, but I think we should be okay, to tell you the truth. So basically, he's a big wizard. He's basically the same as the other wizards, except really big, and has a cool red cloak this time. So basically all we do is we sit there and reflect all of his magic back at him, and he just basically just kills himself. You don't actually have to do anything else. He's actually a very, very easy boss. You can't kill him if you don't have enough magic. So the worst part about him is actually having to go back and grind for mana points if we don't have them already. Alright, so there we go. So we were able to refill our health, and now we have attack 6 because of the automatic level up. And again, we could save for magic or for health, but we don't really feel like doing that. So once again, we'll fight this lizard guy here on our way back. And yes, we walked over the water because we have the boots. So we can actually walk on the watery patches now. But it only lets you walk on certain watery patches, and that's the Wii U Virtual Console menu. You can only walk on certain watery patches. But that basically makes it so that we really don't have to fight any other enemies on the way out. We can just basically just walk out. Which is actually pretty awesome of the game to do. So there's no real reason for us actually to go back to the mountain town. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go back to the town we were just at, like the first town on this island. And notice it actually takes like one less attack to kill these guys now, which is perfect. That's where we sort of want to be. Despite the fact that, once again, I'm being a total noob around them. There we go. And I am sort of saving my magic because we're going to go through the cave again. And the cave, of course, filled with many enemies that will only be damaged by fire. So we want to sort of save that for those enemies in the cave. And again, these enemies here, we just want to sort of avoid. They're not really worth the hassle. Alright, so we're going to go through the cave now. We'll activate the fire spell. And since our attack has gone up, it does increase the power of our fire. So it does take less hits to kill these guys. And we can actually use the fire on the demons as well. And we can sort of just pepper enough of these down that even when they come down to spawn, they'll usually get hit by them. Boom. We just killed him before he even changed. We'll just switch back to life here. Get some more health. And of course, now we're back at town, so we're going to refill all our stats. And then I'm going to show you how we get to the Island Palace. But we're not actually going to attempt it just yet, because that'll have to wait till next week. So we're going to refill our magic. And yes, it takes a long time to refill all that stuff. That's the girl who was thirsty. Yes, she was really thirsty. Boom, we're at full health. And we have enough lives, actually, that I feel confident that we really don't need to attempt another continue to refill up or anything like that. So we're going to run all the way through this town, because this town is huge. And if you thought the towns in Shovel Knight were big, the towns in this game are huge. So now we're going to walk to the water here, and we're just going to walk across the water. So there's actually a reason to go to this particular island if we go there before we go to the palace. But actually, what I'm searching for here is there's actually a square here that if we actually go up, we are actually able to get another heart piece. I'm just trying to find where exactly it is, because it is very tough to tell, as you can tell, because, you know, it's water. Alright, so we jump up here, and boom! We got the next heart piece. There's actually only one more that you can actually get before the end of the game. So, of course, we're going to just keep trudging through the water on our way back out. So again, the palace is right there. We could literally just walk up to it. Basically, again, since all the tiles look exactly the same, we want to sort of feel for where the way out is. There we go. And now we want to sort of get to this island, because the main reason we come here, besides to fight these enemies, of course, because we just love fighting these enemies. These enemies that actually pop out of the ground were actually in Zelda 1 as well. Again, as I mentioned before, this is really the only Zelda game that is actually a direct sequel to the original Legend of Zelda, because the story basically just picks up right after it. 100 XP there, which is pretty awesome. So we're going to walk all the way back over here. And now basically what we'll do is we'll go back to town and basically refill all our stats, and then we'll be ready to duke it out with the Island Palace, which is a very, very green palace for being on an island, of course, which makes a whole lot of sense. We're going to go here. And we're going to talk to this lady. We're just going to run all the way through the town again. And no real reason to talk to any of these people. Like this old lady who just says, "You must save Hyrule." And yeah, okay. Thanks, lady. Alright, so now we're going to walk across the water again. Literally, we just go straight. We just go straight across the water. Link literally walks across the water to get to the next palace. So, of course, this is Palace 5, but this is actually where we're going to end off this week. So, I want to say thank you guys again for joining me for another Zelda Wednesday. What do you think about this Let's Play? Again, I apologize for it not being as smooth as I had hoped. Let me know in the comments below, or, of course, you can hit me up on Twitter at Ryan Turford. That's Turford. You also find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ryan Turford. I have a big Twitch event coming up. I'm going to have more details on that next week, when I have a lot of time to finalize all that good stuff, the hoopla and whatnot. As well, you can also find me on the Game Moose podcast. I co-host it every single week with Drew McMillan. You can find us over on facebook.com/Game Moose podcast. You can also find us on iTunes. Just search for Game Moose and we come up right away. You can also find us at www.talkmoose.com. Anyways, that's going to do it for another Zelda Wednesday. I'm Ryan Turford. Thanks again for watching a YouTube video right here on youtube.com/Ryan Turford.